Hi guys, and welcome to the DIY checklist. In today's video, we're going to be doing a simple drywall repair. If you are looking to do everyday household projects with professional results, then this is the channel for you. Alright guys, so this is very basic. What you're going to need is, I recommend this drywall mud compound that comes in a powder form that you mix up yourself. I wouldn't trust any of those lightweight spackling stuff that's already mixed. It's very light. And that's fine if it's a little scratch or something like that on the wall, but that kind of mud is going to sand way too much to do a bigger repair. So we want to fill this gap here. So this stuff is a little bit, it's harder to sand, so that's what we want for this application. It's really easy to use. You're just going to need a drywall mud pan. I use a 6-inch knife to spread the mud, and I'm going to use this 4-inch knife to mix the mud in the pan. So you're just going to need a little bit of the powder and some water. So one thing to notice when you're doing a drywall repair is on these 6-inch knives and even bigger, they're going to be curved in one way or the other. It's going to have, this one has a slight curve going out like this. It's hard to notice, but if you pay attention to it, it's good when you're spreading that mud to use the part that's bowed inward. So, because if you flip it around like this, these outside edges are actually going to dig into the mud that you're trying to spread. So that's just a little tip or a trick that you can use when you're doing repairs. Okay, so once you get that mixed, you want it about a little bit thicker than maybe pancake batter or something like that, but you want it good and mixed thoroughly. You don't want any dry granules in there. So once that's done, you're just going to take your knife, make sure you're putting it on the curved part that's to the wall, and you're just going to spread it in and then smooth it off. One thing that people do on a regular basis is they try to get it too smooth and they wind up wiping off too much of the material. You actually want to leave it on there. It is going to shrink just a little bit, so you want to make sure you leave enough on there that once you sand it, you don't see a line where the actual repair was done. You want it to be nice and smooth with the rest of the wall. All right, that's it. We're just going to let that dry, and then we'll use a sanding block and sand that off nice and smooth, and then it should be ready for primer and paint. All right, guys, so here we are. It's the next day. As you can see, the drywall mud's nice and hard. This is what you want. This isn't going to be that light topping that we talked about that shrinks up really bad. So this is going to dry really, really hard. If you need to go over it again with something like that, you can, but I think this is good enough. We're gonna sand this nice and smooth. You can see here on the edge that it builds up on one side, depending on which side you're scraping. Obviously, this is only going to be on corners that you're going to see that, but it's not a big deal. We're just going to use the coarse part of the sanding sponge and sand that smooth first. So I'm just going to work on sanding that part down nice and smooth. And then once we knock that high spot off, I'll turn over to the medium side and use the medium side to sand the whole patch. You don't want to sand too much off. You just want to smooth it enough to where you don't see any hard lines when you put the paint on. So you want to get rid of any hard transition lines. You want it to be nice and smooth. Now I'm going to take that sharp edge off to match the rest of it. Just real lightly sand that off. And that's going to be it. We're ready to clean up and be ready for paint. As you can see, guys, it turned out great. You can't even tell there was any damage there. Let us know what you guys think about the video in the comments section down below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of new videos when I post them. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next video.